On Tuesday morning, 22nd August 1911, a French painter named Louis Béraud arrived at the Louvre and found 4 hooks where the Mona Lisa should have been. At first, nobody panicked. Paintings were regularly moved for cleaning or photography, so a guard assumed museum staff had taken it away. They had not. The man who stole it had already walked out of the Louvre, dressed like a worker, and the painting was hidden in a small room across Paris. The museum had not realized for more than a day. The theft began the previous morning. Monday was the Louvre's close day. The public galleries were empty, but maintenance workers still moved through the enormous building. Vincenzo Peruggia looked like one of them, because he had been one. He was an Italian glazier and handyman who had helped install protective glass around paintings at the Louvre. He knew the white smocks worn by workers. He knew the service passages. He knew how the Mona Lisa had been mounted. Peruggia was not a master thief. He was a former employee who understood one useful fact. Inside the Louvre, the right uniform looked like permission. No one can reconstruct every step of his entry with certainty. Later accounts added accomplices or an overnight hiding place. Peruggia claimed that he acted alone. What is clear is that he reached the Salon Carré without attracting attention, lifted the Mona Lisa from the wall, and carried it into a service stairwell. Inside its frame and protective glass, the painting looked difficult to steal. The actual artwork was a small wooden panel. Peruggia removed the frame and glass, then wrapped or concealed the panel beneath his white work smock. Then the perfect theft met a very ordinary problem. The service door would not open. While trying to escape, Peruggia removed the doorknob. A Louvre plumber came down the stairs, saw what looked like a trapped maintenance worker, and helped him open the door. The plumber did not stop the thief. He helped him leave. Peruggia crossed the courtyard and stepped into Paris carrying Leonardo da Vinci's painting. No alarm sounded. No guard chased him. Inside the Louvre, familiarity had worked better than a disguise. The museum was enormous, its collection vast and its security thin. Paintings could be moved without modern tracking systems. Smaller objects had disappeared before. A white smock made Peruggia look ordinary, and ordinary people were not closely examined. By Tuesday, when Béraud noticed the empty hooks, Peruggia already had more than a day's lead. Police closed the Louvre and searched rooms, corridors, and storage spaces. They examined the abandoned frame and tried the still new technique of fingerprinting. Investigators even recovered a print. They failed to connect it to the former worker they would later interview. The newspapers turned the disappearance into an international spectacle. Rumors blamed German agents, foreign millionaires, professional gangs, and political conspirators. When the Louvre reopened, people queued to stare at the empty space. The missing painting had become an attraction. Then the investigation collided with an unrelated Louvre scandal. A former associate of the poet Guillaume Apollinaire admitted stealing small antiquities from the museum. Some of those objects had ended up with a young Pablo Picasso. Apollinaire was arrested. Picasso was questioned. Both men were frightened, embarrassed, and completely innocent of stealing the Mona Lisa. While police pursued artists and conspiracy theories, the real thief remained nearby. Peruggia did not flee France. He continued living in Paris, while the painting sat hidden in a wooden trunk with a false bottom. Police eventually questioned him because he had worked at the Louvre. He told them that he had learned about the theft from newspapers and explained away his movements on the day it vanished. They accepted his story. The man who knew the display case, understood the museum, and had access to a worker's smock was allowed to walk away. The world searched borders. The Mona Lisa never left Paris. For more than 2 years, the painting remained hidden while rumors carried it around the world. Then Peruggia exposed himself. In November 1913, using the name Leonard V, he wrote to Alfredo Geri, an art dealer in Florence. He claimed that he wanted to return Leonardo's masterpiece to Italy. There was one major problem with his patriotic story. The Mona Lisa had not been stolen from Italy by Napoleon. Leonardo had taken the painting to France himself, and it later entered the French royal collection. Peruggia called it patriotism. But his letters also discussed payment, and the later court record pointed to profit as well. Geri consulted Giovanni Poggi, director of the Uffizi galleries, and invited Peruggia to Florence. Peruggia arrived with the painting inside a double-bottomed wooden case. In a hotel room, he opened it for Geri and Poggi. The Louvre markings were still visible on the back of the panel. Poggi asked to take the painting to the Uffizi for examination. Peruggia agreed. That decision ended the mystery. Once the experts confirmed that the painting was genuine, the authorities were alerted. Police arrested Peruggia on 12 December 1913. The Mona Lisa had been missing for 28 months. Before returning to Paris, it was displayed to enormous crowds in Florence, Rome, and Milan. On 4th January 1914, the painting returned to the Louvre. Several months later, Peruggia was convicted, but received a relatively light sentence, helped by public sympathy for his claim that he had acted for Italy. The Mona Lisa came back more famous than it had left. It had already been admired before 1911, but the theft carried it far beyond the art world. For more than 2 years, newspapers had printed its face. Posters offered rewards. Songs, jokes, and postcards repeated the mystery. Crowds came first to stare at the empty wall and then to see the recovered painting. Peruggia stole a masterpiece. The media returned a celebrity. He wanted to take the Mona Lisa away from France. Instead, he helped make it impossible for the world to ignore.